The Georgetown University Political Forum was expected to be a straightforward discussion on youth civic engagement, featuring freshman student Barron Trump and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. The debate, hosted by Georgetown's Political Science Department, drew significant media attention due to the high-profile nature of both participants. Students, faculty, and several local and national outlets were in attendance. What was planned as an academic exchange quickly turned controversial. Midway through the discussion, Barron Trump made a direct accusation, stating that Jasmine Crockett was completely unfit to guide America's youth in political engagement. The statement immediately shifted the tone of the event and shocked the room. Barron Trump continued by questioning Crockett's effectiveness and dismissing her participation in the debate. He claimed that her reputation was based on media moments rather than meaningful legislation, implying she contributed more to polarization than progress. His remarks drew audible gasps from attendees. He criticized her for what he described as a partisan voting record and claimed her rhetoric was damaging to political unity. These assertions were made with a calm but forceful delivery. The nature of the accusation was not expected in the format of the debate and left many in the audience visibly surprised and attentive. In response, Jasmine Crockett remained composed and challenged Barron Trump's credibility instead of reacting emotionally. She calmly stated that before questioning her qualifications, he should take a closer look at his own political approach and motivations. She accused him of repeating familiar narratives without independent analysis. Rather than continuing the back and forth verbally, she reached into her phone and informed the audience that she had something to share that would clarify her point. She explained that a recording made just weeks prior would shed light on Trump's real political perspective and asked the moderator's permission before playing it publicly. Crockett then played the recording through the hall's speakers. The voice heard was unmistakably Barron Trump's, speaking in a casual conversation with a Georgetown journalism student. In the audio, Trump admitted he did not believe many of the arguments he made publicly. He said he saw debates as a platform to build a political brand and admitted that many of his remarks were strategic rather than sincere. He referenced his father's approach to politics and stated that the truth was often less important than maintaining influence. The room listened in near total silence as the recording continued without interruption. In the second half of the recording, Barron Trump described Crockett as actually pretty smart and said her views were not that radical. He acknowledged that he called her unfit and dangerous because it resonated with conservative audiences. He explicitly said, "Politics isn't about truth, it's about narrative." This admission stood in sharp contrast to the statements he made minutes earlier during the debate. The audio continued with Trump describing his intent to pivot his political stance in the future when it became more strategically beneficial. By the end of the recording, the audience had heard a full contradiction to everything he had publicly claimed. Crockett addressed the audience immediately afterward. She reminded them that Trump had opened the exchange by questioning her integrity and fitness for leadership. She then pointed out that, according to the recording, even he did not believe the criticisms he made. She emphasized that this kind of calculated dishonesty was exactly what damaged political discourse. She made it clear that public service should be rooted in belief and principle, not performance and manipulation. Her statements received immediate verbal affirmation from some audience members, while others remained silent, taking in the unexpected revelations and the implications of what they had heard. She then turned her attention directly to Trump, asking whether it was appropriate for someone to publicly attack another's character while privately admitting the attacks were false. She questioned whether leadership could truly be achieved through deception. Her remarks focused on the importance of honesty in public service and respect for the audience. She accused Trump of treating the student body as a target for brand building rather than as constituents deserving of truth. This moment clarified the contrast between their approaches and brought the debate's core theme, engaging young Americans, into sharper focus. The shift in audience reaction was immediate and significant. Within minutes, clips of the moment began spreading across social media platforms. The phrase "Barron exposed" began trending, and news outlets picked up the story by that evening. Analysts across the political spectrum reacted swiftly. Conservative commentators expressed disappointment, noting that the recording undermined Trump's credibility and raised doubts about his authenticity. Liberal commentators praised Crockett for using facts and direct evidence rather than emotion. Students at the event posted real-time reactions, many expressing frustration that someone they admired intellectually had admitted to dishonest political positioning. The fallout was swift, with the story dominating political discourse for several days. Barron Trump issued a brief statement the next day claiming the recording had been taken out of context and made without his knowledge. He insisted that his criticisms of Crockett's record were legitimate and maintained that he stood by his debate performance. However, the statement did little to change public opinion. Many students and commentators pointed out that the full recording contradicted his defense. Several campus events featuring Trump were canceled. Membership in student political organizations he led dropped sharply. His peers described a noticeable shift in his demeanor and presence on campus following the incident. Jasmine Crockett saw a rise in support after the debate. Her handling of the situation was praised across major media outlets as calm, measured, and evidence-based. Her campaign office reported a significant increase in contributions. She continued to reference the debate as an example of why political integrity matters, particularly when influencing young voters. In interviews, she explained that the recording was not used for personal gain, but to expose a broader issue in political strategy and performance. Her visibility in national discussions increased, and her ability to handle political confrontation with composure became a focus of professional analysis. The impact extended far beyond the debate. Professors used the exchange in classroom discussions about ethics and politics. Commentators described the event as a rare moment when private political calculations were exposed in real time. The recording brought to the surface what many had long suspected, that some political figures craft public personas disconnected from their personal beliefs. The audience at Georgetown, made up of politically engaged young people, responded with disappointment and disillusionment. Political operatives and media professionals called it a cautionary tale for any public figure hoping to build credibility while engaging in calculated dishonesty. Months later, Barron Trump remained mostly out of public view. On-campus participation in political groups and media appearances declined significantly. Georgetown students described his presence as subdued and less confident than before. Several public appearances were canceled quietly, and his planned speaking events did not proceed. The incident had created a long-term reputational challenge, especially among young voters. For many, the recording was not simply a political gaffe, it was a moment of truth. Jasmine Crockett, meanwhile, continued to build momentum, with her performance cited in training sessions and academic presentations on public discourse and leadership accountability.